Disney's doing a mega cash-in on nostalgia, I figured I'd do the same. So I revisited Cinderella Story. I know, there's like a million of them, but the one I'm reviewing is starring Lizzie McGuire and Lucas Scott. Back in the day when flip phones were purple and lull actually meant laughter, a young girl named Sam has everything she could have ever asked for. Friends, a dad, a diner. Because all little girls wanted is a diner. Not a million horses to play with on the horsey ranch. No. Just me? Huh. Anyway, Dad meets this very booby lady, and they get married. Now that I think about it, as much as she was a gold digger, he probably wanted two very specific things. I mean, you can't say he liked her for her personality. The movie wants to make it 100% clear that she's probably one of the worst people to walk this earth. So it can't be that. So that begs the question. What else could he have wanted her for? But boobs aside, the dad still wants to be a good father to Sam. He indulges in a strange princess fixation for Sam, but still manages to weave in the importance of college.
Where do princesses go to college?
And in the process, he inadvertently tells her that she must go to Princeton.
They go, where the princes go. They go to Princeton.
No need to find the right school for the right major. Princeton has the word prince in it. Can you imagine? What if we apply this logic to other schools? Mommy, where do people with big mouths go? Dartmouth. Mommy, where do Indian people go to school? Then an earthquake hits, and the dad leaves his daughter underneath a doorframe, which, by the way, is one of the most unsafe places you could ever be in an earthquake. Then he goes to try to save the stepmom. My theory is that the stepmom bonked the dad in the head and left him for dead. I mean, if the little girl underneath the doorframe survived, the dad probably would have too. Fast forward to high school. Everything's in place. The dad is dead, the stepmom is in control of everything, and the two stepsisters are colored like crayons. Rhonda, who is the fairy godmother in this story, helps Sam out as much as she can. People at her high school definitely embody the 80s and 90s feel of the high school cliques. Shelby is a mean girl, just because. The guys are dicks just because that's what jocks are. And they call her Diner Girl because they think it's funny.
Hey, Diner Girl? Can I get a breakfast burrito to go? Thank you.
You get it, right? It's funny because she's working and gets money. Ha 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 ha. I don't get it. Yeah, neither do I. Austin is the Prince Charming, even though he illegally pulled into a one-way zone and stole Sam's parking spot. I don't really get what's so charming about that. I'd be more likely to key his car, but whatever. Sam doesn't really seem to hold him to it. I would. But she doesn't, so this is her story. Then Sam gets back to texting her cyberboy. And hey look, Howard from Big Bang Theory's here. Her cyberboy is nicknamed Nomad, which has a completely different meaning right now. They've been talking online for an entire montage when he finally asked her to meet her at the homecoming dance, which is also a costumed Halloween dance. Austin has to break up with Shelby before he does. Otherwise, he's a two-timing bag of boogers. But when he does, he just ends up being a regular bag of boogers, considering he chooses to break up with Shelby only hours before the actual dance. Like, dude, come on. I know she's awful, but this is so last minute, she won't even be able to find a date if she wanted to. Ugh, I thought you were supposed to be charming. Sam's stepmom tries all that she can to stop her from going to the dance by giving her a late shift at the diner, but the fairy godmother's like, nuh-uh, you are going to that dance. Obligatory costume montage, obligatory costume montage, obligatory costume montage, and obligatory costume montage. Even though time is of the essence, we still have time for an obligatory costume montage. Then they finally find the perfect mask and dress for Sam.
Took you long enough.
Sam goes to the dance and finds out Austin is the guy she's been messaging all along. They crash what I can only assume is a wedding set for the decorations, the gazebo, the lights, and the many, many rows of seats in the back. They play 20 questions for Austin to try to guess who Sam is, but budget cuts and, more importantly, cuts to the script, he only gets 10.
I'll take what I can get.
At the end of the night, he's about to take off her mask, but ring ring ring, her cell phone becomes a cockblock. Sam needs to get back to the diner by midnight, otherwise her stepmother will know she ditched. And as usual, the prince needs to give the princess a 60-second head start before running after her. Sam drops her cell phone instead of her shoe, but because they don't have GPS tracers or hacks on these things yet, Austin can't find her the cyber stalky way. The next day, Austin is really desperate to find his Cinderella. But ho ho ho, her stepsisters find out it was Sam, and apparently they want Austin too. Unable to convince him that they're Cinderella, they take the emails and messages to Shelby, who then puts on an elaborate play, which should be brought to the principal for bullying and harassment, but I guess back then, kids always got away with that kind of stuff. Sam is ousted as Cinderella, and Austin doesn't want to talk to her. Why? Not sure, but I guess we'll see. Cue the sad music for sad souls.
I never thought I'd be without you.
But not too much, because I don't want to get claimed. After some depression times, Sam gets some words of encouragement from beyond the grave.
Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
And she finally steps up to her stepmom and leaves the house. The fairy godmother storms out with her and takes the whole crew from the diner too. Yay! But all's not right yet. Austin still hasn't got his just desserts. So Sam storms the boys' locker room and scolds the crap out of him.
Sam. Okay, I know that you think that I'm just some...
Coward. Phony.
Okay, just listen.
No, you listen.
Ooh, you just got told. Everyone leaves for the big football game, but then Austin chooses the most dramatic point in the game to make his point. He's like, "Bye, losers. I know we're like bros and stuff, but there's a girl I gotta chase. See ya." He runs up to Sam, realizing how dumb he's been this entire time. They kiss, and their kiss suddenly has the magical power to bring back the rain.
What?
Oh, right. In the beginning of the movie, they said that they were in the middle of a drought, so the rain thing was a way to bring it full circle. And everything clicks into place. The dad actually left everything in Sam's name, so now she has a way to pay for college.
By the way, fairy tale book is not a good place to hide a will.
Her stepmother and stepsisters work at the diner. And best of all, Lizzie McGuire and Lucas Scott ride off into the sunset happily ever after. Yay! The reason why I say this movie is my kind of trash is because I 100% know the script is lazy, the character development is lazy, and even the swoon-worthy scenes are lazy. But this is one of those movies you know exactly what's going to happen and you watch it anyway. There's something comforting in watching a fairy tale reimagining because you know the general story points and ending, but can still see a fresh take on it instead of the story taking place in the Middle Ages or something. Kind of like Sherlock starring Benedict Cumberbatch. While we love watching Holmes and Watson duking it out in old industrial England, it would be fun to see them solving crimes in a modern day setting. And to that point, if it deviates too far from the original, that's not gonna fly either. It's like, I put this on because I wanted this to happen, so don't mess with it. Looking at you, Maleficent. You're also not looking for any deeper meaning, or for Disney to revamp it with new layers to justify why characters acted the way they did. You're just there for the 2D caricatures of a Cinderella in high school and the shenanigans around her. Like, how would you respond to seeing a reimagining of Mulan in a high school setting? Yes, it's kind of like, oh god no. But then it's also like, I'm not going to not watch it, because I want to see what the filmmakers did with it. Maybe instead of saving China, she saves AP classes from getting cut. Yes, like a true Asian would. You see how stupid that sounds, right? But don't you kinda weirdly want to see what would happen? Yeah, I think these reimaginings are due for a comeback. No more of this shot-for-shot nostalgic cash grab. At least grab some cash and make it weird and different. But getting back to the movie at hand, Cinderella Story was also made at the height of the Chad Michael Murray and Hilary Duff craze, so you can't say they didn't cast well for their times. Movies at the time were also not that high stakes yet, so you could just throw $19 million and get 70 back, which is not a bad deal. My only issue looking back at it is the script really didn't give Chad Michael Murray much to work with. For being Prince Charming, he wasn't all that charming. He's just pretty to look at if he's your cup of tea. I mean, you have the guy 2 beautiful women in One Tree Hill were in a love triangle with, and the man does have some experience with being a romantic lead. But no, they kind of just put him there and let his looks do the work for him. I think the funniest thing for me, looking back at it with cynical eyes, is the romantic gazebo scene. Because you really have to know, they totally crashed someone else's wedding ceremony. There was even a band there serenading them as they danced. No high school would ever pay for something like that. Oh, and this guy should have definitely gotten a concussion. Shelby was a scumbag, but she did get Me Too'd.
Back off, David.
Come on, Shelby, I know you like me.
And this guy is super rapey.
No.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and write a comment about your favorite fairy tale reimagining. Or I might just have to steal your flip phone and drive like a D-bag to steal your parking spot. Your choice.